All right, I've begun the process of reassembling the bumper. So I've got the right side bracket installed. This is the bottom. That bolts up over there on the cradle. I've got the other pieces down there on the floor. Paint job turned out nice on them. Man, I got half in mind to paint that cradle back there while I got it open, but you know, you got to draw the line somewhere, right? You just keep going and going on this stuff. So, show you the other side here. So, that's what that looks like. Those bolts, they kind of draw down in there. Well, they do with the splines on them. I'll show you one. You just get it in there, you know, you start it in the hole there and put the nut on the other side, and they suck up nicely in there, and they make their own grooves in the aluminum as they draw in. They seem to hold well, so I can see why they used that design. So it's a bit of a puzzle how this went together, but remembering, I know when it came off, I reviewed my earlier video. I had this bracket and that bracket on the bumper when it came out, so I'm going to install those, and then I'm going to research that and determine whether I can install that on the bumper as well, or whether that has to go on the bus. Got to figure that out. Okay, I got all the brackets on, except for those two bolts that go through down there. Got new grade 8 hardware everywhere, except for these splined bolts that I'm reusing along the top of the bumper. And those ones are visible. There's 6 of them. They suck into the metal. Now I've got recesses on these here. Looks like I did a number on that one there. Just noticing that sucks. Oh boy. Wonder what happened there. Oh, I gotta check that out. Damn it. So I had to bang that out of there so I could investigate what was going on. And basically, there was some excess material around the edge of the hole and in the bottom that sort of spooged out when I squished that thing in there. So when I was banging on it, unfortunately, I had it laying on some towels, but unfortunately I made a couple scratches in it. There's one right there, another one there, another one over there. So I'm already screwing it up. We mixed up a little base coat and dabbed it in there, sanded it with some 2000 grit, polished it, but yeah, that sucks, huh? So, you know, it's a freaking bumper on a 50-year-old bus, right? So I'm not gonna get too beat up about it. This I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do about. I might have to trim it. I'm not sure. All right, we were able to pound that out of there and stick it back in, and get that material to go underneath. Basically, you know, there's a lot of clear on here and it kind of smushed out. And basically what we did is we worked it underneath there as best we could and put that back down and encouraged it to be underneath. And they talk about how clear is, you know, flexible material or whatever, you know, if you're talking about cars and stuff like that. It is interesting how it's almost kind of rubbery. So anyways, we got that sorted out, got the brackets on, and we're gonna go ahead and try and mount it on the bus now. Hope that everything lines up nicely. We got most of the bolts in. That one over there is real fun because the other side of it is back behind the cradle and around some stuff that makes the other side of it hard to reach. So yeah, that's fun. All right, we got those two in on the right side. They attach behind the bulkhead. Well, not bulkhead. The cradle over here somewhere. Let's see if I can get it. Where is it? Over there, maybe. Then we got those two in. And they attach through. There's one there. The other one's over on the other side of all that. And we got a couple more to do down on the other side. I just gotta wait till tomorrow because I'm tired and this is a dirty job. All right, today is tomorrow and we're continuing the bumper project here. I'm working on some spacing issues from the left side to the right side. So we've got to take the bumper back off and make some adjustments to how this is shimmed. And I'm looking at the gap on the door here. This is bigger here. I'm looking at the end gaps here from top to bottom. So that's saying that this door's got to come in on the right side. But if I do that, that's going to increase the gap down here on this bumper. This bumper's been shimmed on the top, and I don't like the way that came out, so we're going to remove that shim, get that distance the same as over here on this side. I'm actually thinking that this side is going to have to get shimmed out, the bumper on the bottom with some washers. This door gap is narrower on the left side at the bottom than it is at the top. On the right side, it's bigger at the bottom than it is at the top. So that's saying that's got to come in. This has got to come out. This bumper's got to come out a little bit. And it's complicated, you know, because we've got a door and the bumper, and it's hard to get it all back together right. To complicate matters, we think that the bus has been hit over here on this side before, because this has been, there's evidence of a repair on this door here. And I don't think they got it all straight when they put it back together. So that's probably contributing to the issue here that I observed. So the bumper's coming back off. We're gonna shim that. I got some stops for the door inside. I'm replacing some of these rubber stops. Let me show those to you. So I've fabricated some stops that I can adjust here. There was an old rubber stop that was scraping and already ruined our nice paint job right there. I removed that. It was on the door up here, right there. So with these, we can adjust how far the door goes in or out, you know, at the bottom. So we'll have some adjustment there from left to right. And then we can try and fiddle with the bumper the same way and try and get things lined up properly. These Mondo size 1 1/8 bolts holding this on over here. I've already had some practice, so if I'm making it look easy, that's just because I've already done this. Two bolts, washers and everything. And of course, there's some alignment issues that need to be battled. Or the BFH. Where's my BFH? Okay, I'll do without. Mondo size. Washers and whatnot here. Hey, can you find my sledgehammer?
Okay.
I think maybe it's over there on that sawhorse, but maybe not.
No, it's not on the sawhorse.
We're beating on something with it. Camera's on. I can do it without it. Just try it. Shouldn't be far.
I'm looking. I don't see it though.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. I'm getting it. I found a magic wiggle. Here, get this out. It just needs just a little teeny lift up on it.
It can't. This is
Okay, now that's just barely sitting there.
Okay.
I don't think it's going anywhere. All right. So this is loose. So we should be able to put it up on the sawhorses. So you want to make sure the sawhorses are ready. We'll,
Yeah, I already got the rags and everything on them.
okay. So we'll go ahead and put this nut back on here. We'll go ahead and lift it off. I think we know what we're doing or something here. All right. Oh, what was that? Oh, there's that washer. I forgot about that. All right, so let's see what we got going on here. All right, so we're correcting an error that we made installing these brackets right now. We used a lock washer and a regular nut on there, backed by a large flat washer, and that I've been told is incorrect because that can still spin because of the flat washer. And so we got some of the proper lock nuts, grade 8 lock nuts, and so we're going to take all those off and put those on in their place. So the lock washer and the nut comes off, and this guy goes back on. We're going to hand torque these, the final torque on them, because I don't want to overdo it inadvertently. I'm actually paranoid about stripping out the aluminum thing on here, so I'm going to be going pretty easy on this. Setting number 1.
Okay. How many are you gonna do?
Like 4.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the bolt's long enough for that, but yeah. So I'm hoping that that might be too much. I don't think that bolt's long enough to catch and snug up. And we've got to get them under here when we stick this bolt in, but that'll tell us where we're at. So there's 4, and we got none over here. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna have to stick this bolt in to hold it over here. All right, let's
Okay.
see what happens here.
Okay.
Keep it up.
Okay.
Just try not to drag it across stuff here.
Okay.
Where are you gonna go?
Mine's in.
Okay. I'm gonna crawl under here and stick a bolt in this just to
Okay.
kind of hold it.
Want me to come over there and hold
No, I
them?
think I got it. I'm just gonna reach like this. I can't. I'm just doing it by feel, right? You remember how I had to use a drift on this? To get it to line up, I gotta do that again.
Okay.
So you are gonna have to hold it.
Okay.
Okay, got it?
Yep.
Right there. I don't think it's going anywhere. Come on. Lift up just a tad if you can. No? Okay, let's see. Okay, there we go. There. It's in.
Okay.
Alright, it's just sitting there.
But look how this is right on it.
Ooh.
It's not over on that one. It is on this one.
Well, that's interesting. So it changed from last time.
Uh-huh.
Huh. So we added shims down there. This can get cut or adjusted or whatever. You want to go ahead and shut the door?
No way.
Let's make sure it doesn't rub when it comes down. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Jump it.
You kind of trenched it,
Okay,
John.
let's see. Hey, look at that. Wow, give it a little push. Okay, so that side. Huh. That's a lot better than it was before, right?
Yeah, it looks more even now.
All right, so now let's check the door gappage and bumper gap. And alignment. So this is bigger down here. There's a pretty big gap there. Huh, is that pushed on all the way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this gap's a lot bigger than that gap over there. All right. So let's measure.
You tape measures right there.
Yep, I'm gonna grab the camera. All right, so this is the left side now. The bumper gap down here is quite a bit bigger. So we move that out by 4 thick washers. So we're looking at this gap here. Versus this gap here. This is a little bigger on the bottom, so that needs to come in, which I can adjust that. That gap's quite a bit narrower down there, but that's because we shimmed the other side out so much. So I think we're going to want to remove one washer from the shim on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll open up this gap a little bit here. And that'll close that gap up a little bit there. And I can adjust that spacer. Let's open the door back up. So let's screw this in a little bit. Probably a good 1/8 inch. let's see what that does. Oh, something's hit. Okay, it's hitting the rubber thing here. You want to help on that side over there? Was it hitting something?
Nope. Here.
Okay, let's latch it shut. So it's still a little bigger at the bottom, even though I screwed that in a bit. But I'm also looking at this bumper overhang here. Yeah, let's pull it off, yank that washer out, and do some fine tuning.
Okay, time to plug it back on. My hands get so sweaty in these gloves. Ugh. Like,
All right, let's go ahead and lift this off. You want to, hold on, trade me sides. Because I'm going to just try and pull that washer out and stick it right back on, okay?
okay.
Okay, just hang on there for a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, you're going to have a hard time probably because that bolt, I don't know if it's going to go back in for you.
Well, I got it here, but I'm not sure where to hold it. I got it in the hole, I think. Nope.
This is going to come up.
I don't want it to drop.
I'll come down and just get these clear out of the way so you can see. Yeah, you got it by just about. Let me get that drift in there. Shit, I had to do this up underneath.
There, I got it in.
Not all the way, you don't.
No?
No, I don't think that's in all the way. I mean, is the bumper making contact all the way?
It is now.
You got the bolt in? Let me push,
It won't go
get
in.
this drift going here. All right, can you push the bolt in? Can you do that?
It won't go in
Can you
anymore.
lift up on it a little bit?
I can't. There it
There it
goes.
is, okay. All right, now let's close everything back up. Let's see where we're at. Okay. I don't know if that bumper's on right. It looks like it's. I mean, none of those bolts are cinched up. They're just sitting there, so it could change. But I mean, it looks like we've got, you know, maybe. Anywhere from 3/8 to a 1/2 inch gap over here.
Like a bigger gap over here.
Are you talking about top to bottom?
Yeah. Right here. Looks like it's not going in all the way.
It's just sitting there.
Yes.
But this gap's still pretty big here. And this is huge, right? And there's like an inch here, over an inch. So this distance is what I tend to see the most, right? And you know, to the curve, it's to where it goes straight down. It's about 1 1/8 right there. It's maybe a little bit bigger over here by about a 1/16 or an 1/8 right there. So, I mean, we can try and lift up on the left side and push down on the right side a little bit when we tighten it up. Maybe we'll get, you know, a little bit of this cockeyedness out of it, but there isn't much of a way to deal with that.
Is it really that noticeable?
I think it's pretty good right now. I mean, we could probably pull another washer out of there.
Because I thought you were just putting 2 washers in.
We got 3 in there now. I think we should pull one more out because see this gap here versus the gap on the other side.
Okay.
Compare.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
This looks nice. That looks like shit then.
Okay. So let's fix it. Let's pull this back off and pull one more off.
Okay.
One more shim. Okay, do you want to do this side or that side?
I'll do this side.
All right.
Ready to go back in?
You need me to come over there and
Yeah, we're gonna have to guide that.
I gotta get under it with the drift.
There we go.
Wrong hole. You want the other hole.
We're,
Outer hole.
this one?
No,
Farther out?
use the outer hole. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Yep. Shove.
Yeah, but it's not.
I don't know if you want to lift that much. I'm lining it up with the drift for you.
It's not going in. I can't get it going at all.
And then,
Come on.
let's see. Okay, we'll refund it. It looks like you're there.
It just won't level though.
Oh, because your bolt's not straight. Make your bolt straight. No, your bolt's not straight. The hole's fine. You're putting the bolt in cockeyed.
Okay.
Come straight at it.
Okay, I'm coming straight at it.
You sure? Get a little spin. Okay, push. No.
It won't go in. It keeps falling out.
Alright. Open this door for me, and
Okay.
I will do it. You're gonna have to come around and prop it up.
Okay, I don't want the thing to fall either.
Oh, that's nasty grease. Come on. Oh, what the hell? There's something. This is a different bolt than we used last time? No.
No, it's the same one.
There we go. Okay, it's got to get seated all the way. I don't think it doesn't feel like it's seated all the way. Is it? You can see it better than I can.
No, I don't see it all. Okay, it's in all the way on this end.
All right. Okay, we got it.
Okay.
Shit.
Okay?
Yeah, I just hit my head on the greasy.
Okay, you can take a shower later.
All right, let's check everything again. So that's the left side. It's a little bigger, quite a bit bigger gap there than there is down here in the door. But if I bring that out, that's going to close or bring this out here as well. And that's quite a bit narrower here. It's about a 1/2 inch thinner gap on that side. And quite a bit bigger gap right there. So I can bring that in by adjusting that rubber stop. I can bring that in and close that gap up. If I bring that out, then that'll make that gap here pretty obvious. Well, let's mess with it for a minute. All right, we're gonna go ahead and cinch it up here and see what we can do. All right, I'll show you where we ended up here. I've got these rubber bumpers that stick out here and kind of set the distance that the door hangs when it closes. And when I shut the door, and latch it, this is what we've got for a gap. It's not perfect. You know, this is in a bit here. A little bit bigger gap on the bumper side there. Starting to rain. This is a little bit bigger at the bottom and top, and that is closer and kind of crooked on this side. But when you stand back here and look at it, it's pretty good. There's a little bit bigger gap over there on that side, you know, vertically than there is over here. But there's only so much I can do about that. You know, the door top gap, we've adjusted that already. This is an aftermarket door. This door was made by R&M Fiberglass. It is, as I understand it, one of the first ones that they made. So it may not be perfect. The frame, I believe, has been rebuilt because it's a nice newer looking aluminum frame here underneath. I don't know. I mean, is that factory? Kind of doesn't seem like it. The taillights are definitely not, right? So, I'm satisfied with it. I put some touch-up paint on a few places there where we screwed it up. There's grease marks all over it from us handling it, so I'll get around to cleaning those. But I gotta hook up the wires and stuff for the hitch and whatnot here, so I want to do that. This has an air line for a toad brake that we don't use, but it's there. So I got to mount all that stuff back up, reinstall my hitch, my Roadmaster tow bar sitting back over there. So that's where we're at. Bumper is back on. For those of you that followed along the whole project, thank you. I really appreciate it. Got my tow bar hooked back up, lights hooked back up. Yeah. Happy camper. It's been a long, long haul. Got the sun in my eyes. Just want to thank everybody that followed along. My regular subscribers and future subscribers. Stay tuned, there's more bus projects to come. We've got some remodeling stuff we want to do inside, as well as a dashboard modernization project, digital dash. Also going to be working on some home automation stuff for the bus. So it should be interesting. Take care, we'll see you next time.